and creativity come together for the jewelry and accessory world. We do lots of different things here. We do chats twice a week. That is where you get to ask any type of question you would like about jewelry making, running a small business, that type of thing. We also do our makers meetups where you get to come on live with me on a square on the TikTok and you can show us what you have been creating or what you're working on. We also do tutorials where we show you step by step how to make different things that you can use for jewelry and accessories. Then we also have live events. Those events are where you get to claim items that you can add to your bead collection. So today, hi Trisha, I need to bring up my backup account so I can see comments because we're going to be pointing down and I won't be able to see them. I won't be able to see YouTube at all. I will only be able to see, I got to get out of what I'm in here. I will only be able to see TikTok. All right, here we go. I'm getting there. So today, oh, I need to tell you guys before we begin. Ashley is not going to be here, so she normally shares out our lives for us. So if you guys could help us out, hi Gladys, and if you could share the live with those that you know that normally are here that you're friends with, that would be awesome. Also, if you can go ahead and add it to your story or put it to repost, helps us out a lot. So I am going to change my account here so I can share too. There we are. Okay, I'm into that one. Okay. Once we get to our 10 shares, 10,000 likes, we'll start doing giveaways again. As always, I'm going to add it to this story. All right, we got that. So today is, sorry, I just actually got out of the shower. I have been working on getting everything ready for tonight's live. Finally got almost everything ready for it. I just need to do one more thing and I'll explain what we're doing for tonight before we get into the tutorial, okay? So we are supposed to have a debut tonight and a debut tomorrow. It is like putting a lot of pressure on me. So I'm changing it up. Today, we're going to have a debut event of all the beads and such, but I'm going to do a encore of gorgonias. You guys gave me a list of some different types of gorgonias, so I'm going to grab some of those and bring those tonight. Then tomorrow, I'm going to do an encore of the beads and that type of thing, but bring in some debut gorgonias. That way, it just gives me a little bit of a break of trying to get new things ready to go. Hi, Kay. So just know, we're going to shake it up a little bit, but we're still going to have, we're going to do debut and encore in both shows. It's a little bit different. We've never done it that way, but I want to try it and see how it is and just give myself a break. After I get done with the live, I will be sending out yesterday's electronic communications because I haven't even done those yet. And I don't want to put 3 in one. That just gets to be too many. So we will be doing the electronic communications as soon as we're done with the live. I'm going to start working on those. All right, let me show you what we're going to be doing today here on our tutorial. When we got those palettes, we got lots of different embroidery floss. And I thought, what in the world am I going to do with the embroidery floss? I literally had no clue. And I started just going out there researching, is there anything that we could do? There are a lot of things, but this is the first thing that I saw and I'm like, I'm going to teach this. As soon as we get some of those off of the palettes and we're getting some ready to go. We brought some new colors on Tuesday. Tuesday we had 4. Today we're going to have 12 or 13 colors, not high quantities though. But this is what you can do. You can make embroidery floss tassels. You get to be in control of how long the dangle is, or if you even want a dangle. You get to be in control of how long the tassel is. You get to decide how much space do you want between the top in this little bubble area. I don't know what else to call this. And so you get to decide all of that. Thank you, Cece, for that heart me. Hey, Ashley, you made it. So that is what we are going to be doing today. As you can tell, we have 2 of them. I'm going to go over here. I'll bring them over to here. We have 2 of them where you've got the variants or the different gradient. And then you also have, you can do solids. You can use any of the thread. Now, when I brought those up close, you're going to see something here. This one isn't the greatest on being smooth. I'm going to explain why that is. And then we will be showing you how you can get better, straighter ones. I knew how to do it with this one. I just couldn't get it to work. So I'm going to show you techniques to get it to work. And when you see what you do, you'll be like, really? I watched over multiple different videos out on YouTube. So I didn't have just one person that came up with this idea. There was a lot of different people who had a lot of different ways that they did this. This is my way of changing what they did to make it the easiest for me. So I'm going to tell you, if it's not easy for you to do this, you can always go over to the tube and see if they have something that's easier for you, okay? But literally you can make them. These tassels you can put on necklaces if you want. You can put them on keychains. You can put them on, you know, everybody talks about the car, I can't think of what they call them, I can't think of what they call, car charms. That's it. Car charms, what people call them. Where you put it on the back of your mirror in your car and dangle it down. In my state, those are illegal, so I don't push that. Thank you, Trisha. I was struggle bussing for that. And so, hey, Geraldine. So you can do lots of things, but you don't always have to have this part on there either. So I'm going to explain how you can change it up and make it different and use it however you want. What you're going to need for tools, very simple tools. Geraldine, do these look familiar? So you just need a pair of good sharp scissors. You also need a needle. I'm using a wider eye needle because we're going to put all 6 plies of the floss on there. And so I used to use a wider eye needle. It doesn't matter the size of the needle. It could be a darning needle. You just have to get it into certain spots. And then what you need, embroidery floss. I grabbed this pack from downstairs. We do have 2 more packs of it. So what I'm finding out with these, you get 1 of each color in there. And then I'm putting them together. You'll see that tonight. And so, but I grabbed this one. I just like the colors of it. Hi, Joya. So we're going to use colors out of here to show you how to do this. So you really only need 3 things. Embroidery floss, a sharp scissors, and a needle. Who would have thought? That's all you need. But it is, truthfully, all you'll need for these. I am going to put you down so that you can see how to do this. And then I will show you what you need if you don't want to have this part on there. Some people like this part because they can put beads on it. It's up to you. All right. All right. See you, Ashley. I'm going to put you guys down. And those of you on TikTok, if I look at my backup account, I will see the comments, but I may not. For the tube, I don't have a backup account. So while you guys are down, I will not see comments. So let's be kind in this time, okay? And I'm not trying to ignore anybody. All right. You guys can see my bead mat. You don't even really need a bead mat if you don't want it. We have 1 skein of embroidery floss. You always have an end that comes out. First step that you're going to do for this project is leave it straight, grab a hold, don't pinch it really tight, but just grab a hold so that you don't get the inside of the skein trying to unravel all at once. Just grab it and we're going to pull it till you see it come back up here. So that's one length back and forth. We're going to do that again. Don't you get all cranky on me. All right, we're back at the beginning. We're going to take our scissors. We're going to cut those off. You could cut them off at each point when you took out the first one and the second one. I just do it all on one big piece, fold it in half, cut it in half. I now have 2 lengths of the embroidery floss, like a full length from this end back through to this end. Very simple first step. All right, second step to this, grab one of those 2 that you just cut off and fold it in half. We fold it in half. This is going to make your loop that is at the top of your tassel. So if you're going to add beads to it, you're going to want to have your knot to do that down lower. If you're not, you can be up higher, or if you're going to cut it off, you can be up even higher. It's up to you on the length. So I'm not going to tell you set a length for how long you want this to be. That's up to what you're going to use this tassel for. So grab a hold of it, wrap it around your finger, put the end of that where it's doubled over through the hole that you just made. Hi.
I'm going to Monty's. I got to take his parts to him.
Okay.
Then I'll be home working on the van.
Okay. Then we're going to pull on that knot so that you've got your knot. That's it. That's a second step. I'm moving this to the side for a second. We're going to split apart our 2 ends on that bottom of our loop. We're going to grab a hold of our floss. We want to try to keep it in the floss shape. We're going to slide off each one of these little wrappers, fold it in half, and find the middle. So if you notice, I'm just folding it in half. The middle is right there. We are going to take the middle and set it right there. Grab each side of the loop that we created, those ends, and tie a double knot, pushing it tight. This knot will go and blend in with the top of your tassel. We're going to do a second one. He just got done doing mail. And we're going to pull that tight. And you'll feel it when it is tight. There is your doubled over tassel. You'll see these are a little bit longer, the ends here, than the others. That is 100% fine. Here's the step that took me a long time to figure out how to do it. You take the longer of your 2 tubes that you have that you took off. It usually is the one that has the barcode and the number for the color for the embroidery floss. The tassel part that dangles down, you will, whoops, I've let it go. Pull that through, and you're going to, this is where I struggled the first time, because you want this to get really snuggy here, because you've doubled up your cord versus what that tube was. And he is going to be a pain in the butt about going on. Hi, Maria. I got it started. What I figured out, if I grab my needle, don't poke yourself, but use your needle to help you be able to hold on and give you some strength. Do you see how we are putting that on there now. So that's what I wasn't able to accomplish with this one. I couldn't get this on there, but what I figured out is that I use a bigger, thicker needle, like a darning size needle with a large eye. All I do is take and put that through here and then use my fingers. And you're going to see I'm going to put one finger and one finger on each side and my thumb on the other. And I use that to help gain my leverage to pull that through. We're not cutting the bottom part yet. We got to put this part of the tassel on there. You use the top side to be your gauge of where you want that at. So if you wanted a longer one, push this down. If you don't want a longer one, don't put it down so far. I'm going to leave mine right there. You take your second piece of the embroidery floss that you have. I got to measure for a second here. This is the only measuring right there. So that is as long as that is. So I'm going to go a little bit further down and put it in half, or just fold it over. There's a reason why we're doing that. I'm going to go a little bit longer. There we go. You're going to take your thumb and finger, hold down the loop part. The loop part will go towards the bottom of the tassel. Grab and put it also, you want this one to be going down there. Do you see how I have that, the shorter end just dangling down? You grab the longer end, wrap it around. Whoops, I went the wrong way. I got to go towards me, not away from me. So hold this, grab this one. There we go. Come towards you, wrap it around 5 times. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now what we're going to do is we got this wrapped around 5 times. We're going to hold it. Put this one, the one that the longer one, through that loop that we have here. I'm going to set it down. I'm going to grab both ends of this cord, and I'm going to, now we're getting closer to the thing, so then I'm going to just grab this one and I'm going to pull on it. Whoops, I pulled too hard. I pulled my knot, and we're going to hide that knot that we just created underneath that loop that this part here. I don't know what to call this part. Okay. Now, we're not going to take this off yet. We're not going to cut yet. We're going to grab our needle and we're going to put the longer end onto the needle. We are going to go through that tassel where the top of the tassel here, that piece of cord right here, or the embroidery floss, we're going through that. The scarf, I love that. Hold on, I got to get lower. I was like slicing through it. There we go. Bring that through. Then we're going to go through what Nordic Luna is calling our scarf here. I love that word. That is inappropriate. Go through all 5 of those pieces there. Don't go through the this part. We're going to bring that down. And now if you notice, what we used to tie the scarf is now going to become part of our tassel as one of the links. And they are longer. So this part's longer and these parts are longer, and that is perfectly fine. Now you get to decide a choker necklace. You guys are coming up with creative names. That's a good one, Cece. You get to decide how long you want that tassel. If you wanted it here, you can cut it off here, if that's all the longer you wanted it. If you want a longer tassel, just move that sleeve down to wherever you want it to be. Bring all of your cords, your floss, together. I'm going to move my bead map. You guys can see my dirty table from opening the boxes. I'm moving it because I don't want to get this in that. And you're going to start cutting. You see where we have the edge of our sleeve from the floss? That's your guide. And just start cutting. Yes, it does take a little bit to get through it. There we go. I'm like, why isn't that falling off? And you just keep cutting. You can turn it over and you can cut from the other side here. There we go. Leave this on because we're going to look at this and go, okay, are we even? Is there something that's a little bit longer? This cord is a little bit longer. This cord's a little bit longer. And if you have a little garbage can, I suggest putting that underneath. This is my garbage that I always have sitting on my table that I say I'm going to put stuff in. And just put it in there. And now you can look at it and go, okay, is he even? And if you notice, this side's a little bit longer. I don't like that, so I am going to come over here and we're just going to shag him up a little bit. Take that shag off. There we go. And now I'm like, okay, it's way even better. Then you just take your sleeve, pull it off, and there's your tassel. I'm going to bring it up, see comments and stuff. I'm going to do it on both sides. Hi, Ariel. Well, hello, everybody. I just hit 77 on the live on the tube, which is the most I've ever had on a live. So hello, everybody. Sorry, I was down while we were doing that. But there we have the tassel. That's how easy. Oh, I notice he's a little bit longer here. I am going to cut this a little bit. There we go. Do you see where he's shorter here than there? I see it. So I'm going to keep cutting it here. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. Because I don't want to keep cutting it and cutting and cutting it, cutting it. There we go. Let's see how it is. Hi, Ms. Miriam. There we go. There's our tassel. Sorry, I'm being a perfectionist here. There's this one piece. There we go. Well, hello, Joya. There we go. Did that seem easy compared to what it could have been? I thought that was super easy. We're going to do another one. So let me pick out a different color. And who would have thought, because we see these tassels all the time, who would have thought that it's just embroidery floss? You can decide if you want to fuzz it out or just leave it like this. You get to decide so much stuff with this. I'm going to use the coral color one. Oh, okay. I'm going to do another one. Hello, Gone Wild. So I'm going to use the coral color. So we're going to do it again. And as always, everybody, my tutorials are always saved on the tube underneath the live section. So if you need to go back and watch it again to understand it, once you get your own embroidery floss, you can do that, okay? All right, I am going to point you all down so that you can watch the second one. And we're going to change it up a little bit on the last part, okay? Not meaning that it's going to look like this, but we're going to take this part off so that you don't have the dangle part, but a different way that you can use it. So I'll show you how to do that too. You can use them with cord. You just have to measure out how much of like the nylon cord that you're going to use. And you got to make sure that that nylon or polyester cord, you can use either one, will tie and hold. Some of those nylon cords, you have to singe the ends of them, but the polyester you don't usually have to. So that's the only thing I'm going to say is that play around with it and see. Yep, you guys got to wrap it around something. You can use a piece of cardboard or, like Cece says, a small book. Something that, you know, however long you want this part of the tassel to be, you wrap that cord around it, and then you're like this. All right, everybody, I'm going down. You would not use as much cord. So when you are doing that, if you wanted to, you know, have your, so the question is, how do you do it thinner? If you wanted one that's thinner, just cut your embroidery floss in half. Yep, similar to making a pom-pom. You got it, Trisha. That is the right way. Yep, you could. And that's what I see. So Joya said you can make angels out of them, I bet. And I do see angel when I'm making these, of all things. I do. That is so funny that you said that, because I was like, oh, people are going to probably think I'm weird for saying that. But you're right, Joya. I see it. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go back down. So once again, I don't see comments when the camera is down, everybody. So thank you, everybody on the tube, for joining us. All right, first step, grab a hold of the end, kind of just pinch it so that it doesn't all come out. And we are back up to 1. So you can feel this as you're pulling on it. You can feel it going down and coming back up. And when it gets to the up position, you will feel it in both here and here. So you don't want it to do this though, where it just tried to do that, because what happens then is that the inside gets all mattered and it doesn't lay right. So when it starts to do where it pulled down, stop pulling, smooth it out, and get it back on track, okay? Because if you just let it pull, you're not going to get a great tassel. Cut that off. We're going to put this one in half. All right. We're going to take one of the two. I'm going to set the other one over off to the side. And we're going to put it in half. And then we're going to wrap around our finger on the loop end. And then bring that loop through. There we go. And then we're just going to pull that knot down. This bag has some really good colors in it, Joya. Yep, and this is one of your favorites. We've got some just good, bright, bold colors. All right, take off our 2 sleeves. Find the middle. There's our middle. Does it have to be perfect middle? Nope. But as close to the middle as possible. Take our 2 ends of that, and I'm going to move this down a little bit for the YouTubers. Wrap that around, and we're just making a knot. And then we're going to wrap it around again, and we're going to double knot this. And we're going to pull this really, really tight. There we go. We got it. Pull that down. We have that. We're going to take our sleeve. We're going to bring it, our hanger part of the tassel through. I literally cannot do and get that back on there without using this needle trick, everybody. And that helps me just to slowly get that put on. There we go. He's going. And you just have to, you're going to find, don't fight it. Just take your time on this step. Okay, we got that. We're going to go down as far as we want to have before we put our choker on, our choker necklace, or the scarf, whatever you want to call this. Let's set that down. We want to have this to be longer than our cord here for the tassel. Fold it over, hold this down with our thumb and finger with that loop part on the bottom side of the tassel, going to the bottom of the tassel. You take the longer side and wrap it. Nope, it is this way. I always have to stop and think about it. Wrap it so it goes around this way. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't want you in there. And then once you got the 5, put it through the loop. Grab both ends. I just put it down, grab both ends and hold them. And then pull that knot underneath the choker necklace or the scarf, because that's going to hide the knot underneath there by pulling it there. This is our longer one. We're going to thread it on the needle. We are going to go through underneath our knot that we have up here. Just go underneath that. Then we're going to go through the choker or the scarf, whatever you want to call this. All 5 layers of that. And bring that needle down. And we have now hidden our knot, made our scarf, that type of thing. Now, we can decide how long we want to make this one. I'm going to make this one a little bit shorter. I'm not going to go down as far as I did on the other ones, but I want it a little bit longer than where we're at now. So I want to go to there. So here's the bottom of my sleeve, and that's where I'm going to start cutting off the extra so that I can make my tassel. I'm grabbing the garbage. I'm just going to have it fall into the garbage right away, everybody. Just start cutting across here at the bottom of that sleeve. I'm almost through. Almost. There we go. We're through. Okay, I'm going to check and see. If you notice here, he's not 100% because you're sawing at it. There's no other word to say than you are sawing at getting that off. And I just want to make sure that there are as even as possible. I think I've got it. So I'm going to take this sleeve off and then we're going to look at it and decide, is he even? I see we got a little bit longer one right here. Okay. And there he is. I'm going to bring back my bead mat. I'm going to lay him down on there. And we're going to make a different topper for this one. You can use gold. You can use silver. You can use whatever size you want. I would say use a bigger size, like 7, 8, 9 millimeter size jump ring. If you're going to do this, you will need 2 pliers to open and close your jump ring. I'm going to leave this on for just a minute. The reason being is it makes it easier to see where we need to put this. Okay, I found the opening of my jump ring. He is right there. So I'm going to take my chain nose pliers, 1 in each hand, open it up, put that underneath where we added our knot, and then close it up. Let's see. There we go. Put it down. Above the knot, cut off this part. And now you have a tassel. I'm going to put it on here. That you can then dangle down. You don't have on the cord at the top. you can add this to whatever you want to add it to. So I'm going to bring this up so you guys can still see it. This is, sorry, I was down, so I could not. We are learning how to make tassels out of embroidery floss. And this one, we took the cord part off and we put a jump ring on to give it a different finished look. And I want to hide my knot a little bit, so I'm just going to take my needle and poke it down in there and see if he'll stay down in that top part. There we go. There we go. So that's what this is. If you wanted to have the color of your, what we're asking about, the scarf or the choker necklace, you can make it a different color if you want. It doesn't have to be the same color as your embroidery floss that you're using for the tassel part. So whatever way you want to do that. Hello, Jade. So that's how simple they are. It isn't that hard of a process. I will go ahead and make a third one if you guys want to see it one more time. Yep, you can make earrings with the jump rings. These will be a little bit large for me. Ooh, but look at that with my hair color. Oh. Those would be cool if I wore dangles. Holy buckets. So yeah. All right, I'm going to point you guys down. We're going to do one more, okay? Let's see. This is what I have left in this one. We have a few blues, periwinkle, purples. We've got pink, yellows. Which one should I do? I'm leaning towards the purple. We're going to do purple. All right, here we go. Going to go back down, everybody. You guys are all wanting the purple. We're going to get the purple. All right, here we go. We're going to grab our end of our embroidery floss, kind of pinch this a little bit. Don't pinch it so hard you can't get it to move, but just pinch it so things don't take off. We're going to pull one loop and we're going to pull a second loop. And you can feel that loop. And what I mean by a loop is from here to here and back around up. We want 2 of those. You can cut them each time you do a loop, or you can do it like I'm doing it, where you do it one time, one loop, fold it in half, and then cut it in half. Either way works. We're going to take one, and we're going to set the other one to the side for a moment. I'm trying to see if I can get you guys there. There we go. Now, this, we fold these 2 in half. You're going to create a loop by just going around your finger with this end and bringing that through, both of those through, and create a knot. That's how long you will have for a dangle if you leave the dangle on. Put that down, split it in half, which I mean take one side up and one side down of those 2 ends. Take the sleeves off of the embroidery floss, keeping the long one. You want to keep that long one. Find the middle of your embroidery floss. So right around there. Set that down inside of there. Grab a hold of the 2 ends, and we're going to double knot that embroidery floss onto there. Pulling it tight, and you will feel it when it's tight. There we go. We've got that. Sorry. I got to wait for, I was getting a phone call on my phone that I do for TikTok, and then it will freeze it for a minute. So I want to make sure that they're getting back on. All right, you guys are good now. Then we're going to take the hanger part of the tassel, bring it through that longer tube that we saved. Grab your needle. This is why I use a thicker needle. And we're going to pull this tube down over the top of our embroidery floss. You'll see our top is coming out. You get to decide where you're going to put on what we're calling the scarf or choker necklace. And then, so there is where I'm going to do it. We are going to grab our other short piece of cord that we put out. We want to make sure it's longer than our length of our tassel. Fold it over at that point. That is like literally the biggest measurement of this entire project. We're going to set that on top of our wrapper or the tube. Having the shorter piece hang down, grab the longer one and start wrapping it around right above the top of that tube 5 times. There's 2, 3, 4, move out of the way there, 5. We're going to take the longer one's end that we've been using and go through the loop that we created. And we are going to pull this so that we create a knot. And that knot is going to be underneath our scarf. Now, he's up on top here, if you notice. The shorter side automatically goes down, but the longer side goes up. That's the one that you want to take, put the needle on, go through the top of our tassel where we have that knot at, come through there, and then go through the scarf part, all 5 of those loops. Put your needle through that, but don't spear your tube. Because I've done that actually. So that's why I'm saying don't do that. We're going to pull that needle through and we're going to have both of those now facing down. Yes, that one did, Joya. Yep, this tube is the thread wrapper. The longer one here. You know how you have a shorter one and a longer one? You want to keep the longer one. It's what you use. Now we're going to move our tube part down to however long you want to make your tassel. I'm going to do it there. We're going to move our bead mat out of the way and grab my garbage can. Grab your scissors and start cutting the end below that tube. It takes some time sometimes. That coral was like the easiest one that I've done so far. There we go. Now we're going to check and see if we are even. You can see when you're holding this, you're going to see if it's even or not and where you need to make some adjustments. Those look like they're fine. So then I'm going to pull this little tube off, push those down, and double check it. This now, because remember it was outside of the tube, so sometimes you will have to adjust just a little bit on that one. And right in the middle, there's one part that's a little longer. Okay. There we go. I'm going to bring it up so you guys can see this one. Literally, it's taking less than 5 minutes to make these tassels. Well, for me, it's not. It all depends on how long you want it, that type of thing. So there we have the purple one. And then you can decide, do I want the jump ring on there or do I want to put, sometimes you can take a bead because the diameter of the cord here is 0.5. So that means when you add the two up together, it is 1 millimeter. So when you think about that, a lot of the holes are 1 millimeter in a glass bead. So if you wanted to put a little glass bead on top of that before you put it onto whatever you're going to do, just to add it to the top, or you could take a bead cap and put it over the top. Let me see if I can find a bead cap really quickly. This might not be the fastest thing for me to find, a larger one. So hold on. I'll see if I can find one. Because I forgot about that until I'm sitting here talking. Haha, yes, this one might be it. This might not be it, but we'll try it. I don't know if he's going to go through this hole. There was a different style that I was looking for. Is it in here? This is it. This is the one I'm looking for. Hello, everybody over on the tube. Go through. I'm trying to twist it so that it makes it smaller to go through. And then I'm also trying to use the needle to shove it through too. Because I do not think the needle will go through this. I'm going to try it. Yeah, that worked. Ha ha. Now I just got to get this all the way through. I put it on the needle and put it through. This is not the right size bead cap at all for how far down I went. There we go. I need a bigger one. But if you had one that went down further, that one's not far enough. But you know what I'm trying to say. If you have a bead cap that is larger and goes down a little bit, or even the cone ones, you can cover up this part and then it'll just be the tassel part. Yep, the cone ones. Yep, that's what I was just thinking too. I just don't have a lot of the bead caps. I don't use them a whole lot. As you can tell, I don't bring them to our events very often because I seriously don't use them. If you guys want me to get some, I will start looking and sourcing. You just need to let me know what you want. I'm putting the trays back, everybody, because if I don't, then I leave them on the table forever. It's all about picking up as I go. If I don't pick up as I go, I create a mess. But that is what I wanted to show you guys today. You want me to get some? Okay, I will start looking. Do you want cones, bead caps? Do you want the larger size so that you would be able to cover up this part? You guys let me know. So that is what I will tell you. Ooh. So Shadow, these are, I am using, it is not DMC brand. I will tell you that. What it is that I ended up from a company that is from overseas, that was getting rid of their drop ship in the United States items. And I wanted the cord because we use cord when we do jewelry a lot. But as part of the cord, I took all of the items that they said were cord and the embroidery floss was included in it. So we're trying to come up with ways that we can use the embroidery floss into creating jewelry. And this is one of the first things that I came up with that we could do and learned how to do the tassels with it. When I look at it and I look at the branding that they have on it, it is very close to DMC's, but it is not DMC's. But when I look at the feel of it and everything, it feels like DMC. I will tell you some of the generics that I have gotten to use on embroidery, it has a different feel to it, and this one doesn't. And I'm not trying to like say something. There is a difference, and I don't know how else to word it. So I just want to let you know a variety of them. Okay. Do I have a bigger wire guard? The only wire guards I have are what I have out there. That's all I've gotten. I don't know. I can look for bigger ones. You're welcome. But the one thing, because like, and this is what I'm going to say. The DMC, if you nick it with your needle, it doesn't fray like some of the generics. And when I was doing this with this, I'm about ready to get off ranch, or else I would do one of the orange ones that I have. I did do a coral one. And when I nicked it, when I was using the needle on this one, it didn't fray like I thought it would. So that is why I'm like, this has been the closest generic that I do that. How did I get the bead cap on it? I used the needle and I threaded this and I put it through the hole of the bead cap. That hole on that bead cap that I was using was larger. If you have a smaller one, then you're going to need to use a smaller needle. Yeah, this one is cool, isn't it? We're over here talking in this one. Thank you, Cece. So, yep. So on the live today, we made, now I'm trying to remember, was it these three? Or did we do this one on the live? And then we have these other two with the variegated. And this was the one I could not figure out how to get the tube on. How do you get it to stay without? You just tie a knot at the top of it. So you would put, so Joya has a good question over here. How do you get the bead cap or the beads to stay? What you do is you put it through, tie a knot at the top so that it won't slide off. And like what Nordic, thank you. We do all kinds of tutorials here for jewelry making and accessories. So what Nordic Luna is going to do with these is she's going to actually add beads to it and add this to the end of a bookmark. Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. These are what I would use for these types of projects. And you know what's really odd is that when we were starting to do this, I was telling everybody over here on TikTok that my Hobby Lobby doesn't sell DMC anymore. They don't have the embroidery floss in the store. I was like, are you kidding? I'm like, Jiminy Christmases. But I also have not, once I started doing jewelry, I stopped doing the embroidery that I used to do. And I have done, neither does, okay, so Wally World doesn't have it either. Is Michael's the only place you can get it now? I'm wondering. I mean, I used to get it at Joann's, but they're no longer available. So it's like, okay, where are we supposed to get these for that? But I took a step back from doing my crocheting and my all the embroidery floss projects that I did. And now I pretty much all I do now is jewelry. But that's where my passion has changed to. So it's probably been 10 years since I did an embroidery or a cross stitch or anything like that. I've done blankets for Buttercup's stuffies. So I have done some crochet lately because I did stuffy blankets. Well, thank you, but I don't tell people exactly where I'm at. I will tell you, I live in South Dakota in the United States. Hi, Faith Driven. How are you? So that is our tutorial for today. As I said before, you will always find it available for replay out on the tube. Ooh, that would be cool. So Shadow Taurus uses the embroidery for junk journaling. That sounds amazing. I have not made one for pear. So they're asking if I made a blanket for pear. I have not. And the reason being is that we took 2 blankets that we already had, Buttercup did, and she put them in Pear's cage, her mansion. We call, or the condo. That's what we call this one. When we get the big outbuilding, that's the mansion. But the condo, she has a 4-level. We got a cat recently, so those of you that don't know, she is has 2 blankets in there, and then she also has a bed now. So she's gotten lots of things and her toys, but we have to be careful about the toys that we put in there because we found that she will take them into her litter box. And then when we find them in there, we throw those because that's just this to me. So we don't put as many small toys in there. We give her bigger toys that she can't get through the door because her litter box is off to the side of her condo. So yes. Hey, Naomi. So yes, we're learning. We're learning. So for anybody who's new, Buttercup is our granddaughter. And so her cat that she named Pear is what we call the great grandpet. I would have never thought being a great grandparent at this age, but it's a pet. So yes, so that's what we've got. She does with that. And I think I want to hang some of these, possibly from Pear's, the top of her condo, because she likes batting at stuff. So I got to figure out how we can get those attached, and she can just bat at them. But we're going to have to do them in pink, because everything's in there in pink. So the blankets are pink. Her toys are pink. She's a girl. Well, you know what? You get to be a great auntie. And then I am a great auntie now too. Just, well, I've had, Lydia came before Buttercup. So for 11 years now, I've been a great auntie. So yeah. But I had my first biological one just in June. She's like 6 weeks old now. Oh, you have grandbirds too? All right. Well, I am going to hop off here from this live. I will be back on TikTok only. So those of you that are on the tube, if you want to see what else we do on lives, we will be live tonight where we will be having items up for claiming. And we will be live at 7 p.m. Central Time. And we will have some of the floss. We have different colors of floss than what we had today. But we'll have that. We have some of the pendants. The on the board. You guys know what I'm talking about. Excuse me, pendants. Oh, thanks for that idea. Thank you, thank you. And we will have different pendants. We have some glass beads. We have natural beads. We have acrylic beads. So we're going to have a gamut of things. And then I'm going to bring encore gorgonias tonight. Not a clue. I'm like, what? So they were talking about do ribbon down tight, or to sew heavy ribbon there so she can play at it. I'm like, I want to try that now. I got to go get ribbon. That'll be a tomorrow afternoon project. So we can make her have a little fun. But that's what we will be doing tonight. And then tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central, I will be live on TikTok. My user for everything, all my social medias is the same. Yep, it is Friday. It is CarolJo's LLC across all the socials. So you can find me there. And I will be live 10 a.m. tomorrow. We're going to do encore for beads and all that stuff. But the gorgonias, I'm going to bring a couple of new ones. And then tomorrow night at 7 p.m., I will be live on an app that I can't say because TikTok doesn't let me say it. But if you go and look through my shorts, you will see my schedule for the week and see what app I'm talking about. Yes. That's what you didn't have a clue. Yes, Nordic Luna. I can't say it. There's lots of words that TikTok doesn't like us to say, but we do have those tonight. So yes. All right. I will see you all later. Have a good rest of your afternoon. And if you can, join me on TikTok at 7 tonight. Bye, everybody.